Good afternoon to one and all. I am R.V. Kiran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today in this lecture video, I am going to explain two more comparators in these mechanical type comparators. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the first two types, that is the dial indicator and the Johansson microcrater. And in this class, we are going to see the last two, that is Reed type comparator and the Sigma comparator. And this is my 30th lecture regarding to the subject metrology. So this is the Reed type comparator. So in this Reed type comparator, there are different types of reeds. You can see it in the picture. So this is the vertical reed and these are the horizontal reeds. So these two are the horizontal reeds to be displaced and this is the vertical reeds. And it works a spindle with a displacement. So this is the spindle with a displacement and this is the pointer which is attached to the vertical reeds, and there is a scale to be measured, and it consists of two blocks. This is the fixed block and this is the movable block. So A block is the fixed block and BC is the movable block, in which the spindle is attached to the movable block only. So the spindle is directly attached to the movable block. So when there is any displacement in this spindle, so this block is used to move in the upward motion. So that is, it is moving in the upward motion, and the horizontal reeds which is attached between the two blocks, that is these horizontal reeds is attached to the fixed block and the moving block. So that is movable, that is displaced on one side of the floating block. So this is also called as floating block. So it is moved on the upward direction. So then the vertical reed is moving towards the upward direction. So this displacement causes the pointer to move in the this way. So this is the reading when there is the displacement in the spindle. So this is the reading of the pointer when it is displaced, when the movement is displaced. So by this spindle attachment or the spindle movement, the floating block is moved on the topwise, and the readings has been taken and observed in the pointer. So let's see the working principle of this Reed type comparator. The amount of target swing is proportional to the distance the floating block has moved. So already we have discussed about the two types of blocks, that is the floating block, that is moving block, or the fixed block. So which is the floating block has moved, but of course it has very much magnified, and the scale may be calibrated by means of gauge blocks to indicate any deviation from the initial setting. So generally these scales may be calibrated by the gauge blocks only, that is slip gauges only, to indicate the deviation from any initial setting. So from any initial setting, we are going to take that. So the sensitiveness of the order of 0 to 0.5 microns per scale division. So it has a micro scale division of 0.25 microns per scale, which is up to the scale division. And the mechanical amplification is usually less than 100, but it is multiplied by the optical lens system. So the mechanical amplification is taken as less than 100, but these can be multiplied by adding the lens system, that is the adding the lens one by one, which of the magnified type. And it is available in the amplifications that is ranging from the x500 to x1000. So that is the magnification system of the lens, that is the magnification power of the lens, which it has ranging from x500 to x1000. Then this read type mechanism is a frictionless device. So this is of the frictionless device that is used for the magnifying small motions of the spindle. So by measuring the small motions of the spindle, we are going to magnify this element. And it consists of a fixed block, which is the A, that is the floating block. Fixed block A, which is rigidly fastened to the gauge head case. So this is fixed to the gauge head case, but the floating block B carries the gauging spindle, which is connected horizontally to the fixed block C by the reeds C. So by the attachments of the reeds C, the floating block is attached to the C. And a vertical reed is attached to the each block with upper ends joined together, as shown in the figure. So the upper end is attached to the each block of the vertical reed. Beyond these joints, it extends a pointer or target. So this extends a pointer or a target to it. The linear motion of the spindle moves the free block vertically, causing the vertical reed to slide. So this allows the vertical linear motion to slide on each element that releases the vertical reed to slide. That is, the pointer is attached to the vertical reed, and this is used to slide with help of a bearing. So when we have to fix these vertical reeds with a free block, this is going to be attached that freely. Then this movement causes the pointer or target to swing through an arc over the scale, which is proportionate to the distance. So that is distance traveled by the spindle, which is very much magnified. And these comparators of this type may have sensitiveness of the order of 0.25 microns per scale division. So it has a sensitiveness of order of 0.25 microns per scale division. So that is up to the range of the comparator. So this is the reed type comparator, in which you got to see the comparator spindle displacement. This is the horizontal reeds, and these two are the vertical reeds. And the pointer is attached to the free block, that is the floating block, in which a displacement can move the floating block towards the upward side, and this moves the pointer on the either side. So in mechanical comparator, the gauging head is usually a sensitive, high quality dial indicator mounted on a base which is supported by a sturdy column. So this is supported by a sturdy column, and the reed mechanism is frictionless device. So first of all, the reed mechanism is a frictionless device for magnifying small motions of the spindle. So these are going to magnify the small motions of the spindle, and it consists of a fixed block A, which is rigidly fastened to the gauge's head case. That is the head case of the gauge, which is rigidly fastened, and A floating block B which carries the gauge spindle and is connected horizontally to the fixed block by reeds C. So these are attached by the reeds C, and a vertical reed is attached to the each block with upper ends joined together. So a vertical reed is attached to each block with the upper ends joined together. These vertical reeds are shown in the letter D. So these are the two vertical reeds of the attachment D. Then beyond this joint, it extends a pointer or a target. So this is extended by a target or a pointer attached to it. So a linear motion of the spindle moves the free block vertically, which is causing the vertical reed on the floating block to slide past the vertical reed. So this linear motion causes the free block vertically, that is to move the free block vertically. This cross the vertical reeds on the floating block to slide past the vertical reed on the fixed block, that is a fixed block. So however, as these vertical reeds are joined at the upper end instead of slipping, the movement causes both reeds swing through an arc. So these reeds can swing this arc, and as the target EA is merely an extension of the vertical reeds. So this extension is an arc, merely a target, and it swings through a much wider arc. So when you are going to have a displacement of much more wider tolerances or much more higher length, it will have to swing it in the much wider arc, and the amount of target swing is proportional to the distance in which the floating block has moved, of course very much magnified. So this moves the very much magnified floating block. The scale may be calibrated by means of the gauge block, so that is slip gauges, to indicate the deviation for any initial setting. So the deviation caused by the any initial setting. Next, these comparators using this type of linkage has sensitiveness of the order of 0.25 microns per square division. So we have already studied that point in the slide before sliders. So it has a sensitiveness of 0.25 microns. And the mechanical amplification is usually less than 100, but it is multiplied by the optical lens system. So generally, this is the mechanical amplification is generally less than 100, but these should be multiplied by the lens system, that is the optical lens system. So that is about the reed type comparator. And next we see the sigma comparator. So in this sigma comparator, the main component in the total sigma comparator is the y arm. So this is the y arm which has a length of L. So this is so adjustable phosphor bronze driving band. So this is attached to the material which is a combination of the phosphor and the bronze driving band, and it got the name Y arm because of its Y shape. So this is the Y shape band, and this Y shape band is attached to the phosphor bronze band, and in the center of the phosphor bronze band it was a driving drum. So this is the driving drum, and to the driving drum a pointer is attached in which it is used to move freely. So the driving drum is used to move the pointer freely. So it got the pointer length, that is R, which is to be measured in an engraved scale. So this pointer length is attached to a is easy to measure to a scale, and the Y arm is attached to the cross strip hinge. So this is the cross strip hinge in which it got two blocks, that is fixed member block and the movable block. This is the moving block, and this is the fixed member, that is the fixed block. So it has a displacement of x length, and to this cross strip hinge it is attached to a knife edge. So this is the knife edge in which it is attached to the cross strip hinge, and in between the knife edge and the moving cross strip hinge there contains a sapphire bearing block. So the material of the bearing block is called sapphire. So that is called as sapphire bearing block. And the knife edge is moved when the plunger is moved in the linear direction on the upward movement. So any deflections can cause the plunger to move on the upward direction. and this moves the knife edge which is attached to the cross strip hinge. So at the end of the plunger, so at the lower end, it was the slit diaphragms on both the sides of the plunger, and it was screws to the knife edge, which is not moved to any other side. And on the top of the plunger, it was a slit diaphragm. So this is the slit diaphragm, which is on the top of the plunger, and on the lower end also it got the slit diaphragms. So when a little adjustment or the little deflection in the plunger, it causes the plunger to move on the upward direction, in which it connects to the knife edge, and the knife edge moves the cross with hinge to the Y-arm, and the movement in the Y-arm of the driving drum makes the pointer to move or oscillate the pointer. So that is the working done in the sigma comparator. So next, working of the sigma comparator. The plunger is attached to a bar which is supported between the bending plates at the top and the bottom portion, which is shown in the figure. And the bar is restricted to move in the vertical direction only. So the plunger is used to move in the vertical direction only, and a knife edge is fixed to the plunger bar. So this knife edge is moved to the plunger bar. And the knife edge is attached to the sapphire bearing block, that is sapphire plate, which is attached to the moving block. So the sapphire plate is that attached to the moving block. When the knife edge exerts a force on the moving block through the sapphire plate. So through the sapphire plate, this moving block is attached to the fixed block with the help of cross switch. So with the help of this cross switch, they are moved to the fixed block with the help of cross strip hinge. And when the force is applied on the moving block, so generally when the force is applied in the moving block, it got an angular deflection. Then a Y-arm is attached to the moving block, which is used to transmit the rotary motion of the driving drum of the radius. So this is used to attach the motion of the driving drum of the radius R, and this deflects the pointer and the reading is noted, and the reading is noted when the deflection is on the pointer. So the pointer got the deflection from the its So the deflections in the pointer is shown and the reading is noted. So the vertical beam is mounted on a flat steel springs which is connected to A. So here we can see the displacement figure. So these are the usual springs and this is the spindle attached to it. So which is connected to the fixed members which in turn are screwed to a back plate, and the assembly provides a frictionless movement with a restraint from the springs. So which is a restraint from the springs. The shank be at the base. So this is the shank which is at the base of the vertical beam is arranged to may take a measuring contact that is selected from a available range. And the stop C is provided to the restrict movement at the lower extremity of the scale. So at the lower extremity of the scale, the stop C is provided. So this is the stop C which is provided, and these are mounted on the fixed members which is hinged assembly D carrying the forks arm E. So this is the forks arm E which is connected to the arms. So these are mounted on these fixed members which is carried away and is hinged assembly directly carrying the fork arms C. So this assembly incorporates a hardened fulcrum, so that is provided for the adjustment of controlling of the ratios. That is for the transmitting motion. And the fulcrum is fixed there, which operates on the face of a jeweled insert. And the metal ribbon attached to the fork arms passes through a spindle G, which is causing it to rotate directly, which is the specially designated one, the miniature ball. which is attached to the bearings. And the damping action to the movement is affected by a metal disc which is mounting on the spindle in a magnetic field between a permanent magnet and a steel magnet. So these are going to be used to a permanent magnet and a steel magnet, and the damping action is set by the these connections only. So these damping action is connected by these connections only. And the indicating pointer H is secured to a boss on the disc. So this is the indicator H which is attached to a boss H attached to the disc. So that is attached to a secured boss on the disc. And next, the instrument is available with vertical capacities of 150 mm, 300 mm, and 600 mm, and it has a magnifications of 500, 1000, 1500, 3000, and 5000. So these are the different magnification systems of the optical lens. That is 500,000. So it is multiples of 500. And the scales are graduated in both English and metric systems. So these both scales are graduated in the both English and metric systems. So which is the units has been held in the English and it is done in the metric system units also. And the least count which one division represents is of the order of 0.25 microns. So it has a division repeated order of 0.25 microns, which is of the repetitive order. And let's see the advantage of the sigma comparator. So it has got a bold scale and larger indicating pointer. So is compared to other mechanical comparators. This sigma comparator consists of a bold and large scale, and the disadvantages are due to the motion of the parts, there is wear in the moving parts. So generally there is wear and tear important. So that is wear in moving part, and it is not as sensitive as the optical or other types of comparators due to the friction presenting in the moving parts. So due to the friction which is on the moving parts, it is not as sensitive as the others. So this is about the sigma comparator. Next, we are going to see the different advantage of the mechanical comparators. So first one, cheaper than all the other types of comparators. So generally these mechanical comparators is cheap because they are readily available in the market. So they are cheaper than the all other types of comparators when we are going to compare. And this does not require any external source of power or air supply. So these mechanical comparators does not require any external source of power. So due to the mechanical arrangements only can go through, and it does not want any type of air supply also of the pneumatic type. And these comparators use a linear scale that can be easily understood. So generally mechanical comparators uses a pointer which is used as a linear scale that can be easily understood. So even a small children can be easily understood the scale. Next one, usually these comparators are robust in design and compact in size. So but are very easy to handle. So when you have a compact type of assemblies, you are going to be handling it very easily. And these are small in size and can are portable from one place to other very easily without much difficulty. So due to the compactability, so they are easily taken from one place to another. So these are the advantages. Let's go to the disadvantage of mechanical comparators. So these mechanical comparators contains more number of moving parts compared to the other ones, and it develops the friction which in turn reduces the accuracy of these parts. So this reduces the accuracy of the parts. and slackness in the moving parts reduces accuracy very drastically. So these moving parts slackness. So whenever you're going to find a measurement, a slackness occurs in the measuring parts reduces the accuracy. And these have more inertia, so the instrument is prone to vibrational effects. So whenever we are going to use this instrument, this is prone to the vibrational effects of the spindle. Limited range of the instrument is another drawback as the pointer moves over a fixed scale. So the fixed scale is limited to some measurement only, that is up to 10-15 centimeters or any other measurement. So that is limited range. So this limited range is the another drawback. Last one, parallax error may also arise when proper scale is used. So by reducing the errors in the parallax error, this may also arise when the proper scale is used. So when adjustments in the scales can be taken, this parallax error also can be easily adjusted. So these are the disadvantages of the mechanical comparators. So by these, I am ending this mechanical comparators topic. In the next class, we are going to see some more comparators types. Thank you.